CORSO and Catone.
I think, well, listen, Mark, listen, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to?
Presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and CORSO Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, CORSO and Catone.
Welcome into CORSO and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm CORSO, that's Catone. Joe is in the booth, and you're with us watching on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, or wherever you podcast. And we're also available to you, Alexa listeners, in this live post-draft party that we're having today. I don't know how much of it's a party or
what party? After
funeral.
that draft?
Maybe a post-draft funeral. So hopefully have your dock clothes on for this one. But check us out on Twitter and, of course, our heated hotline, 855-313-PATS. Hey, there's plenty to be pissed off and fired up about. So we want to hear from you in heated hotline. Leave a message 24/7. And there's some good things. You can talk Celtics if you want to. Want to hear it all? So make sure you call 855-313-7287. Hey, it's our post-draft party today, so we're going to get to it all. We're going to break down the picks. We're going to talk about what we think the team is, where we think they're going. Did this even make a difference, or did it make us worse? Did everyone else get better? But before that, we're going to hear from one of you in the nation in heated hotline. So, guys, Mark, is the thermometer popped yet on you, or what?
Popped.
What's the deal?
Popped. I threw notes. I ripped up notes, books. Forget it.
So you can see how we're feeling about this right now. So, hey, let's get right into it. Let's get to a heated hotline. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do a heated hotline for sure. Let's get that going.
A guard from Chattanooga? Are you kidding me? I'm so sick of this shit every year. Bill Belichick's gotta go. He sucks. He sucks at the draft. He can't pick anybody. I'm so sick of it. Screw him.
That guy just came out of the Dunkin' Donuts.
Wait, that guy, he had about 3 coffees, about 15, 20
He
cigarettes.
sounds like he's related to Mark somehow. My God.
Christ.
Holy crap. And no name, no location.
Nothing.
And you know what? That pretty much sums it the frig up, doesn't it, Mark?
Oh, absolutely. That's a man after my own heart.
So
What's left of it anyway?
That's right. Thank you for that heated hotline. So yeah, okay. Let's get right into it and start there with Belichick. First of all, if you can't understand what we think of this draft right now from what we've already said, yeah, we're not too pleased about it. And I don't think anybody in Patriots Nation or in the Pats Nation out there, or of course, or Catone Nation is happy about this. And we'll get to the picks in Weekly Rewind. But Mark, Belichick, I don't understand anymore. You got to make sense of this for everybody out there now.
I think it's clear now. If it wasn't clear before, that last year, that was, for whatever reason, Kraft allowed Ziegler to take some control of that draft room. And the guy that he took with him to Vegas, one of his chief assistants, who now is basically the player personnel guy in Vegas, I believe they were running that draft room or had a huge say in that draft room, because this draft is probably worse than the last 4 that took place before last year's draft. This is back to Belichick being in control. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It was almost like he was being a pouty little freaking baby last year too. And when it was time to make the pick, he looked over and say, are you okay with that? Are you okay with that?
That's exactly what he was doing.
As if to say, oh, okay, I'll let everybody have input. Well, you know what? You should have called Ziegler and friggin' in Las Vegas right over there, because they had a pretty damn good draft, the Raiders. And
I'm going to tell you something. Even the guy you can't stand had a better draft. Caserio had a better draft than Belichick this year.
The Jets looked like geniuses.
Yep.
Compared to what the hell's going on in New England. So, yeah. But you know what? At least Patricia had a suit on in the war.
He looked like a goddamn seal in a suit. A seal in a suit. He looked like, for Christ's sakes.
He just can't. he can't seem to just get it right. He can't.
Listen.
They can't seem to evaluate guys. And there's so much film. There's so much footage on these guys this day and age. It isn't like it was 20 years ago and all these other schools, you never see them play. These guys are on national. These guys are on TV every single week. And you got to believe you could talk to somebody in their program to fill in the gaps for you, right? Does your scouting department suck that bad, Bill?
They're all the scouting department is all his cronies and crumb bums that he's got on with him. They go over some film, but it's whatever he wants.
Yeah, he had to grow.
How is Matt Patricia? How is Matt Patricia in a war room? That's what I want to know. How is that even possible, Chris?
The war room. He should be in the kitchen. He should be in the kitchen preparing the meal for the team. That's all he could do. If he doesn't eat it all.
And then
but
you
here's
got
the
the
thing.
grow. He looks like a scared little kid. That he what's he doing? He's not doing anything.
Yeah. He's kissing Belichick's ass in that room. Hey, Bill, can I get you another cup of coffee, Bill? How do you like to take it? Or do you want tea instead? Well, can I get something for Nike, your dog? How about that? Because it feels like Nike was making those picks. You should have let his dog is named Nike. Should have let that dog make the friggin' picks. I would think he would have thrown it at the wall. You would have probably done better, right?
Listen. Then to top it, the war room off, they go Weekend at Bernie's. Sitting in a chair, they prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's. They give him a telephone to talk to the draft picks. He's drooling. You don't know. Hey, I heard you were a captain. What the hell is wrong with Kraft? Are you kidding me?
It's become how the hell it's gotten from here to here. I mean, and when we get to the first pick, we're gonna get the react. Not only are we gonna talk about the guy, we're gonna talk about the reaction around the league too.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the reaction around the league. So, listen, great call. Fantastic call. No better way to kick off our post-draft party than with that call. I wish you left us your name, but thank you for that call. And Heated Hotline was presented. Oh, Joe, who we presented by? Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce?
Yep.
SpecialSaucePodcast.com. When we come back, hey, if you don't think it can get worse, if you don't think we can get more heated and fired up, just come back for the fireworks right after this.
It's the Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, man.
This will start off as finance drive. Train them, trust them, and let them lead.
With your host, Marcus Arias.
A little technical difficulties there
Well,
going
man.
on there, but we're back in.
We're back in with CORSO with Tone. Hey, listen, we're back. It's live. So you know what? Hey, out there,
It's
Pat's
gonna happen.
and the nation, put up with it. Put up with it. The pearls we're getting. So listen, we're gonna get real. We're gonna talk about this whole thing. This is why we're here. This is why Mark and I honestly started doing this damn show, was because of stuff like this. Because we're sick and tired of watching this crap go down every single year, all the time with our beloved New England Patriots. So get it ready, buckle up. We're going to get to the picks and weekly rewind, and that's going to happen right now. I'm going back through the week, about a weekly rewind. So, obviously, we all know the draft was happening the last 3 days. The Patriots had this many. We chose about what, nine guys, Mark?
Yeah, about that. I think it was 9.
10 guys. It was 10 guys we picked. We're not going to be able to focus on all of them, but we want to talk about the first several picks and start off. They take with the number. They had the 21st pick in the draft. They trade out of that spot down to 29. Okay. And they gained an extra 3rd and 4th round pick this year to do that. All right. So that's what they did. And this is what they did with the pick. They take a guard out of Tennessee, Chattanooga, Cole Strange, a fifth year senior. So he's been playing since, for 5 years already. He's 24 years old.
I thought he was a 6th-year senior.
Okay, sick. I didn't know you could be a 6th-year senior.
Well, he is because of whatever COVID, everything else. He's a
He
6th
stayed
year
back.
senior. He stayed back. Yeah,
He failed biology, so he stayed back.
6th year
Mark,
senior, 24.
tell us about this kid.
So listen, if you look at the kid, right? Okay, and you look at the film on this kid, his athleticism does jump off the tape for that position. It does. As a guard, he's got a lot of athleticism. He's nasty. He's mean, right? He is. He's good. He's good on the move. He can pull. He can climb to the second level. He gets out in front on the screen. He can pass protect. Okay. So he's good at run blocking. At Tennessee Chattanooga, they ran, believe it or not, the majority of the time, and he is used to actually implementing a lot of NFL running schemes as a guard. Where his issues is if you're taking somebody with that pick, he has trouble a little bit in pass blocking. If you have a big lineman in front of him that can convert speed to power, he's going to get pushed back, and they're going to go by him. At the Senior Bowl, they had the kid Jones, the defensive tackle from UConn, just kept rolled over him. Just like 2-3 times during during practice rounds, he just rolled over him. He couldn't stop him. So that's a problem when you're taking him with the 29th pick in the draft. I think he's a solid ball player. Maybe an all pros at some point, but not in the first round, Chris. Not in the first round.
No, not at 29. I mean, I could see even stretching it end of second round into third round. You started hearing guys around the league talk about their draft grade. But, the Patriots floated that nonsense out about there were other teams that had him, going into the first round. Listen, I combed it too. I've been on all the blog. I've been on everything for these teams. I've heard other people that are tied in talking to hours and hours of nobody had this kid. No one had this kid up in their first round. Some of them had him late second, early third. That's about the highest you had this kid going.
On my board, I had him between 85 and 91 on my board. And listen, okay, I know I'm not in a draft room, but and you had him in the 70s, didn't you?
I had him in the 70s, so that would have been where?
That's third round,
third in the middle. I had him like late third round, something like that. So I did break some things down on him.
What do you think of him?
Mark. The player himself, I don't have because he's going to catch a lot of crap now because of where he was drafted. But the player himself, look, he's 6'5", 300 pounds. All right, so he's actually not. He's not a heavy guy, for that position. Believe it or not. He does have strong hands. I mean, it's tough to get off him once he locks in on you. Okay, so that's great for the interior. He did play some center, so he does provide some versatility, and he'll give you some of that there. It's a depth guy, and that guard they took later in the draft also provides some depth at center as well. But like you say, Mark, with so many teams this day and age being able to rush the quarterback from the middle of the line, with defensive tackles going through that one technique, that 3 technique, going in between guard and tackle, between center and guard. Guys can get there, Barmore. Guys can get to the quarterback, and you need your guards to be able to pass block in a league that's all passing, and he's going to have trouble with that. So what you're telling us, Bill, is this guy is ready to play and start right now.
If you took him in the first round,
right? So does he get redshirted like every other damn first round, pick in the draft, first year guy? I don't know. You're gonna hold him on the bench. He'll be 25 years old to be ready to retire.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think this guy, Chris, is a redshirt guy. I honestly think this is a guy. This is a plug and play guy, right? You took him. He's gonna play this kid, right? In my opinion. Well, the competition. Okay, I keep hearing. Oh, well, he had a great tape against Kentucky, who's an SEC school. He played them once. Right. He didn't play them every week. He played once. And Kentucky's a middle of the road defensive line for the SEC, probably bottom third of the SEC in defensive lines. So he didn't play any of the top teams.
Austin P, North Alabama, Western Carolina, VMI. Who the hell's VMI? ETSU, Samford, not Stanford, Samford, Furman, Wofford, Mercer, the Citadel. Listen, okay. First of all,
middle. Hey, that's a fine military school.
Well, that's fantastic, but they stink at football. So the competition stinks. And therefore, how do you grade him properly?
You know
like
who
that?
he reminds me of? Everyone kept saying Logan Mankins.
But he's a mock. He's a mock.
He isn't
I don't know what
Logan
the hell a
Mankins.
mock is.
I don't know what that is. Listen, he's not Logan Mankins. He really reminds me, believe it or not, more of Tooney when Tooney was first drafted. But Tooney at least was a third-round pick. They didn't waste the first-round pick on Tooney.
So again, it's not the guy. I like the guy, and I think he's a guy. But you know what, Mark? I think this is a save. And we're going to move on to the next guy. But
No, but wait a minute. Who else? But wait a minute now. Before you move on, who was there to take?
Okay, go ahead. Anyone, everyone. I mean,
You had the whole board available to you.
You had. Who would you have?
I'm just gonna say one guy. Chris was fantasizing over this guy for 2 months. Nakobe Dean, who really dropped. But if you were sitting at 21 and you didn't trade down, you could have taken a defensive end who I love from Florida State, Jermaine Johnson. Yeah. You could have taken Quay Walker, who we both loved as a linebacker. If you had questions about Nakobe Dean's medical, okay, fine. The kid Quay Walker you could have taken, and then of course Dean, and among other guys. But just to name a few,
you could have had the safety out of Georgia, Lewis Seen. You could have taken him. I don't know. He's a first round guy. He went shortly after that, right? Or even okay. So we'll look at the guys ahead of time. I don't have a problem moving in the draft because Dean, as far as Dean goes, there was a medical issue with him, which is why he dropped to the third round. So I still would have taken him in the second anyway, as soon as this guy is dropping. Because I still think you just watched Dean. You watched that guy, but there were other guys on the board. They had McCreary they could have taken out of Auburn. They could have taken, Mark, there was just so many guys. Booth, the corner out of Clemson.
He hasn't,
could have had him.
Listen, I'm just going to say this. I said this to you 2 days before the draft. I said, listen, get Booth out of your mind. He has never drafted a guy from Clemson ever. And specifically, since Dayball Sweeney has been the coach, they've had national championships. They have the best talent. Them and Alabama are the two most talented teams in Georgia in the country every year. He don't even look at Clemson players. That's a problem. That's a problem.
So that's our first pick. That's the first pick. Okay, there you go. God from Coastal, wherever the hell he's from. Chattanooga.
And you know what? You know what? And you know why he took him? And then we can move on. Because Johnson, the God from Boston College, got taken sooner than we all thought he was going to go. Because if Johnson was there at 21, he wouldn't have moved down. He would have taken him because he was the first guard that I think Belichick liked.
I agree, and we're hearing from some of you, Mark. We got to keep reminding ourselves that we're live. We're hearing from some of you in the live chat.
We got Patrick. Listen, this is what you were talking about. Read that to our fans.
Patrick Tukin writes in, couldn't believe the pick, especially the live take by McVay. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, Patrick. Thank you for the chat. So what happens is the LA Rams were doing somewhat of drafting. They were doing. McVay was in studio somewhere.
They didn't have a first-round pick, so they were just doing like a media session. So when the pick, GM, I think,
when the pick was made, they were sitting there live, and both of them reacted and said, good thing we didn't. We had them graded 104th, something like that, laughing their ass off. Okay. Yep. That's where you are, Patriots. That's where you are, Pats Nation. There we go.
The Super Bowl, the defending Super Bowl champions, LA Rams, are laughing at you because you took Cole Strange in the first round. Yes, that's where you are.
And so you know what? And don't you think for 1 second McVay wasn't aching for years to slam it into Belichick's ass. And he finally got a chance to do it.
Finally got his chance.
Great point, Patrick. So now in the second round, they had a pick in the second round. It was the 54th pick, 22nd. They take a receiver.
And they, by the way, they moved up a couple of spots, right, to get him.
They did. They moved up to get him. And Quan Thornton, this was a wide receiver out of Baylor, 6'2", 181 pounds, ran a 4.2. Fastest. He's the fastest wide receiver at the combine. You're the wide receiver.
What did he run a 4.28? You ran a 4.28. He ran a 4.28. He is quick. He's lightning quick. Okay, fastest guy. Actually, the fastest.
Before don't friggin' talk about I know you're aching to talk about who you would have taken there.
No,
instead,
I
but
wasn't
break
going to
down
say
this
that.
guy.
No, I wasn't going to say that. He actually ran the 4th fastest time of the draft combine in 4 years.
Wow.
So
he's fast.
the kid, he's Tariq Hill fast. He's that fast. The cheetah says nobody's faster than me. This kid is pretty damn close. Okay. This kid's as quick as Hill. Okay. He may be just as quick. So he's got something that we were asking for, right? We were begging for speed. We need skilled players and speed. So they took the fastest wide receiver in the draft, right? Actually, probably the fastest player in the draft, not receiver. The fastest player in the draft
Was
they
this guy.
took.
They were listening to Corso and Catone.
Yeah, they weren't listening hard enough, though.
No.
Okay, so
it's a good pick,
well,
right?
let's talk about some of the other things this kid can do that he brings to the table. All right, let's not slam him immediately.
I'm not slamming him. I'm telling you he's got speed.
So as far as a versatile wide receiver, he is not. Okay, this is not going. This is a guy, and he's not going to get you anything in the middle of the field.
I think he can give you a crossing route, a slant. But I think he can cross. I think he can cross.
Well, you're going to have to clear out. They'll have to
Yes.
be, they'll have to,
Yes.
yeah, they'll have to be some rub routes for him to get him to the middle of the field.
Yep.
But on his own, he's not gonna get away from press and get to the middle of the field. Okay, what he's going to do is he's going to blow the doors off the defense and get down the field. I mean, that's what this guy does. He's tall. He's 6'2". Okay, he plays at a high point. He's got great hands. Okay, he'll take those 50-50 balls away. So anytime you got two guys going up for the ball, QB corner and phase, he's going to go up and get the ball. He's got sticky hands. That's fine. That's good. But he's bone thin. Okay, and he's pretty much going to stay that way, Mark. I don't see him putting a lot of weight on. Do you?
No, well, probably not. But what he will do for us is this. He will, for the first time in years, force the deep safety to have to sit. They weren't sitting last year with Aguilar. They were all coming up.
No.
They were right.
No, you have to respect the speed.
So for the first time in years, you're going to have to respect this kid's speed, because if you don't, he's gone. There's no corner that's going to be able to play this kid one-on-one and not have protection in the center of the field, because he will go by you. He is that quick, right?
He is.
And if you're playing zone, you're going to have somebody over the top, Chris, right, to protect against this kid.
Yeah, if it's too deep, then if it's a too deep deal, your safeties are going to have to play a little deeper. They can't play at 10, 11 yards. They're going to play at 15.
Because he'll split them and go right by them.
Right. If it's single high, yeah, they'll run a cover 2 buster, and they'll put him on a skinny fade, and he'll go straight down the field. But here's the thing. And if they play single high, you're right, 20 yards down. So, yeah, that should open up your underneath stuff. If we go and take Slade Bolden in an undrafted guy, bring him in. But anyway.
You were dying to get that in. Dying.
So, no, I like the kid. And, Mark, the other thing I'll point out, that it's one of these intangibles, and people want to say, well, why would you take this guy here over guys Mark's about to mention? Okay, why would you do that here? Well, what do the Patriots do more than anything else on offense? What's their kind of style? Play action. Yeah. That's what they did. They did it like 75% of the time were like play action plays, play action pass plays. Well, when you got a burner like this and you run, especially with the running backs and how we run the ball, that you got to respect that running game with the corner, the edge. You play action and this guy's gone, and you should be able to hit him downfield. So that's a good thing. But Mark,
So just before I talk about who was available. So one of the things I was reading, because of course, last night I was up, God knows I didn't sleep. So couple of people actually compared him, his route running, his initial, and I know you say he may have trouble because he's a little lean getting off press corners, right? But his burst off the line will help him get away from press corners, because you look up and he's gone. He's by you, right? Yeah. His initial burst off the line is unbelievable. Not just his top end speed. And people were saying that he reminds them of a young Devontae Adams. We could only be so lucky if that's true. I don't think it is.
It may be true for the downfield fades, but I'm not sure how true it is for the middle of the field stuff.
So
we'll see. We'll see how we can get off. Okay. But Mark,
now my favorite,
because wait, you only set this up. because when this pick came down, in fact, Joe, we sent you some raw footage of my video of us at the draft, okay, when they were picking. And I'm not sure if you can even play that on here, but you probably can't. That'll be for another day.
Yeah, that will have to be for another one. The footage is a little less.
Yeah, that'll be for the uncut version of the show. Mark, Mark lost his mind. Tell us why.
So everybody knows, I talked about it in my one of my pre-draft shows. One of my favorite players coming out of this draft, because of his style of play and because of what we do on offense, was Sky Moore. He's a slot guy who can stretch the field. How many slot guys do you know that is quick in space? They got that quick burst to get free in the slot. Everything New England looks for, that quick space guy, like an Edelman, like a Troy Brown. This guy's on steroids compared to those guys. He's so fast. But he also can he also can get downfield. So he gave you both. He was a dream come true. He's there. I'm telling him they're moving up to take Sky Moore. Here we go. And what do? They take Thornton. It was a disappointment to me. It was. And to just put salt in my room and step on my face. Who takes him?
Well, Kansas, you knew as soon as he was gone, okay, because
the Kansas City Chiefs.
Because New England picked, and 1, 2, 3 picks later was Kansas City, and you know full well what they were going to do. Mark, tell
and then the other guy I like.
Who's Sky Moore? Wait a minute. Who's Sky Moore remind you of? Who is he?
Sky Moore?
Mm-hmm.
Sky Moore is a cross to me between Deebo Samuel and, believe it or not, Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders, because he gives you both. He gives you both.
Yep.
And you don't draft him?
Yeah, and I even think he's a guy that could line up in the backfield too.
No, he absolutely could. That's why I'm saying he's like Samuel.
So you people out there, keep paying attention to Kansas City. This dude, this guy's gonna make Tyreek Hill will be a little. They'll forget about Tyreek Hill.
Oh, in that offense, oh my God, they'll forget. Oh my God, in that offense, oh my God, what
and
he's
who's
do?
the other guy?
And the other guy I loved, and I told you, if it wasn't for his injuries, I told him this the day before the draft. I said, you know what I'm really got a feel for right now. I've been watching a lot of film on him. If he didn't have injuries the last couple of years, he'd probably a top 15 pick. Is George Pickens, the wide receiver from Georgia. And as soon as we picked, I said to him, Pittsburgh's taking him because he's a Pittsburgh receiver.
Yep.
There's no way Pittsburgh's not taking this kid. All of a sudden, Pittsburgh takes him. I knew it.
Tomlin was drooling all over.
Tomlin was drooling. And then Tomlin later, we'll talk about this after. Later, Tomlin gets the other guy you loved, Austin from Memphis.
Yeah, from Memphis. And again, SEC. We didn't take one. We didn't take one.
Nope.
We took one guy from the SEC.
Well, we love Mechie too, but Casario took Mechie on us. We
took one guy from the SEC, and that was in the friggin' 6th round. No,
two guys. We took the running back too from South Carolina.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the running back and then the guard. Sorry, the guard in the 7th.
But
round
anyways,
from LSU.
So this kid Thornton. Okay, here's the thing. Was he a stretch? Here's the thing. Was that a stretch taking him at that high?
He was the 30th. He was the 30th ranked receiver on both of our boards.
Yeah. And he went, and they moved up a couple of spots in the 2nd round to take him over Sky Moore and Pickens. All right. George Pickens.
But you knew when they moved up, it was like, what are they going to move up for? Well, you don't move up in the draft unless you're going to get a money player, like somebody who makes money, like a wide receiver, like a corner, well,
you thought there was a chance they were moving up to get Dean.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we don't know. I don't know how serious of an issue this medical. It must be pretty bad because we were ready to take him at 21. It's a pectoral thing, I think.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of an injury history.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. This guy needed to be taken, period. If you were going to take Thornton in that spot, then take Dean. That's how I feel about it. So I like the kid. I don't like the spot. And that's going to be the theme of a lot of this we're talking about.
So that's 2 picks. First and second round. We like the player, not the spot.
Aggravating.
All right.
So now they get into, where are we now? Well, they get into the 3rd round, right, Mark?
Yep.
And so they go into the 3rd round, and I got to look up what what spot it was in, but they take a corner. So they take Marcus Jones, okay? Marcus Jones out of Houston, corner. He's 5'8", 174 pounds.
That's light for an NFL player.
It is. It is light for an NFL player. Pick him at the 21st pick of the third round. Given what was there, I don't like the pick in that spot. I'm not sure I like the player. Here's my thought on this guy, okay? He's a guy that's attractive to Belichick because he's a punt returner, okay? He's a burner. He's a punt returner. I think he ran like a 4.3, Mark?
Was he in the 4.3 somewhere?
It was like a 4.38.
He didn't run at the combine because he was injured. So I think he ran somewhere in the 4.3s, 4.38, 4.35.
So he's quick, he's fast. As I said, he's a little small. Now, when you watch his tape, okay, again, he's a small guy. He's not a tall, lean guy that's going to stay in phase with these tall receivers. He's not. But what I think he can do is he can cross the field. Remember last year against Buffalo when McKenzie gave us those fits?
Yep.
Where he was just dragging across the middle of that field, and nobody could keep up with him. This guy can. So this is a guy that's explosive like that too. He can go from 0 to 60, which is what I love in a corner. You can go 0 to 60 where he's back, T-step, and come forward. Quick. He can do it. So when you're facing guys in your division now, like Waddle and now Tyreek Hill and McKenzie and Diggs and these kinds of guys that you got to deal with, to say nothing about what's in the West Coast over there, this is the kind of guy that can help you in that situation. His hips are fluid. He turns his hips quick. He's again, we'll get to special teams in a second. He will make he tackles downhill, but he will miss tackles. So some of the things that I don't like about him, he can't get off blocks. So if you block this guy and you're going edge, if you're running bubble screens, okay, and you're running those slip screens out there, and you get somebody on him, they're never going to get off. He won't get off a block to help out in any kind of way. He's handsy, very handsy. So he's going to get a lot. You're going to see a lot of flags with this guy, especially with the talent that we're talking about. And that's the other issue too, Mark, that I have with him. Where he played. And this is a common theme. He plays at Houston, right? So he's not going against NFL talent every week. You know what I mean? So I don't know, Mark. That's my breakdown of this guy. How do you like the pick?
So here's the thing. Again, we've been complaining for the last year, 2 years. They need to get more athletic. Okay. Yeah. So this guy is athletic, right? And to what you said is true. He's going to play in the slot, and he's going to be able to keep up with guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Cedric Wilson, the guys that are in your division. He's going to keep up with those guys. He's going to keep up with the guy from Buffalo. I forget his name, the little guy that kept running across the field on us. He will make the attempt, but I believe that's what he was drafted for. He was drafted to keep up with those guys, and you're right. And then you got all those guys out west. But that's so he can do that, okay? On film, if you watch him, that's what his strength is. You know, granted, we got Jonathan Jones to play slot. We got the kid from Ohio State we traded for last year, the kid Wade, that supposedly is a slot corner, but they're not athletes like this kid, okay? Yeah. So this kid gives you quick burst of speed, somebody that might be able to run with Tyreek Hill across the field so he can't catch the ball and run 30 yards in a blink of an eye because he can make sure he doesn't catch the ball. So he may help you in that sense. You mentioned special teams.
Yeah.
Okay. So this
I'm
kid.
about to get really pissed too.
This kid supposedly is the best punt returner to come out of the draft since Devin Hester. If anybody remembers Devin Hester, that's a big comment to make because he was so damn good in that way. Okay. But the other thing Hester did, if you remember, Hester would go in on the offensive side of the ball as well. And they would try to get Hester the ball on offense because he was so fast and shifty.
Yeah.
They're going to bring this kid in on offense because they said he's the most versatile player in the draft. Like they used to do with Troy Brown. They used to put him on defense. I believe you're going to see this kid come in and they're going to run some gimmicks with him, some sweeps. You may see this kid line up in the slot and use him a little bit as a slot receiver because he's so quick off the line, and run him across the field and see if he can catch the ball. So I think you're going to see them use this kid in a variety of ways. Was he a stretch at 3? Yes.
Well,
He
I
was a
just felt that
stretch
there
at
were
3.
other guys, you know.
There
I felt
absolutely
that
were.
I felt
There
there were
were.
other corners there.
There
I felt
were.
that, you know, that you
There
had
were.
some SEC corners that I thought were better, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
still like Davis, who went a little bit later.
Who was the corner from Georgia that you liked? That was still on the board?
Yeah, I'll get that name in a second. But Tyndall is the guy I wanted to say that
The
I wanted
linebacker.
there. Okay, the
Okay.
linebacker out of Georgia. That's the guy I would have taken there. And Mark, where I want to lose my mind a little bit about this is, when's the last time they had a corner returning punts? Tell me. Go ahead. Right.
I don't remember.
And the reason why you can't remember is because they don't do it. It's not Belichick.
Well, if they don't use this guy to do that, then what the hell did you draft him for?
That's my point. You know, we had guys that we brought in last year too. Okay, every year we've had guys that brought in Taylor, right? JJ Taylor. Why isn't we kept all year long? We kept talking about it on Pat's Nation, the post game show. We kept talking about it all year long. Why isn't Taylor returning kicks? Why isn't he returning punts?
You know who was an unbelievable kick returner in college? Duggar.
Right, no, that was another guy. That was one of that was
Duggar.
perfect. 2 years ago, that's what we were talking about. We were saying, okay, yeah, Duggar can return kicks. He wasn't anywhere back there. They put N'Keal Harry there. And by the way, Deron Kendrick was the Georgia corner that I was thinking about. Kendrick.
Okay.
So so there's that pick. Now
There's that
moving
pick.
on,
All right.
moving on from that. Okay, and this is probably the last one we're going to be able
Yeah,
to have
because
time for.
yeah.
But they pick another corner. Okay, a few picks later, Jack Jones out of.
Please don't mention that school.
I'm
Please,
afraid to
don't
say it.
mention
I'm
the
afraid
school.
to say it because Marco's about to explode. Corner out of Arizona State University, 5'11", 171 pounds. Okay, Mark, he ran. You want to know what he ran for a 40? He ran a 4.5. 4.5 for a corner. Yeah.
He ran a what?
A 4.5 40.
Well,
This
he
guy
must
ran.
have been N'Keal Harry's roommate. They're both slow.
Right.
Slow.
So he's only 5'11" too. So it isn't like this is the kind of guy we're going to say, well, let's go stick him at safety, you know, because he is a ball hawking field. He has that play.
He's a ball hawk with kids that are 13
Well,
years
that's
old.
the thing. And that's the problem. Okay. Yes, he's all over the field. He'll go up and get the ball. You know, the one thing he will do is he'll run the route for the receiver. So he's very good at route recognition. Okay. That's a good quality for this guy. Now he's got a string bean frame, as he like the other guy. His feet are kind of, they match up. He doesn't have fluid footwork, and he loses.
Oh, that's real good. That's real good for a corner.
He loses
That's good
every
for a corner.
He loses every 50-50 ball, every 50-50. And
Wow.
again, to Mark's
Those are
point
some
on
great
Arizona
traits.
State,
Those are some great traits for a corner.
he's not playing any NFL talent.
No.
You could have had there Davis, the corner from Alabama. You could have had the defensive tackle Farrell, LSU. You could have had Ferguson, Mark's guy, the tight end, believe it or not, out of Wisconsin. And you could have had Austin, the Memphis wide receiver.
Was he drafted, by the way, Ferguson?
He was. I have to look at where he went, but he was
All right.
drafted. Yeah, it was
Okay.
later, but he was drafted. But these are the guys these are the corners you could have had there. And they play against NFL talent every single week. The guys Mark's mentioning, Pickens, Austin, Slade, Waddle, all these guys, Williams, Mechie, Davis, Davis is on the same team. You know what I mean? So that was a problem. And he's got character issues on top of it, Mark.
Who, this
That's what
kid
I'm hearing
Jones?
about
Yeah,
this.
he's a
This
stiff.
kid Jones has some character issues.
Listen, I
And,
wouldn't take anybody. Listen. I won't take anybody coached by Herm Edwards. Nobody.
To win the game.
Jesus Christ.
So
Listen,
some of the other, you know,
this guy will never. This guy's a stiff. I will say that guy is a stiff. That they just drafted. Jones is a stiff.
So while the other three players that we mentioned, that we highlighted, we think are good ball players, we don't like where they were picked. This is a guy I'm not okay with, and I don't think he's going to be another one of these Duke Dawson.
I'm not okay with this
took
pick.
over the third round, and you never hear from him again. And some of the other guys they took a couple of running backs, which is a head scratcher. Strong from San Diego State, Harris from South Carolina. Look, get to the other one you want, Mark. Roberts, D tackle out of Northwest Mississippi State. Hines as a guard, who I like at LSU and tackle out of Michigan. They also took Zappy, the quarterback out of Western Kentucky, Mark. Talk about that.
Okay.
Just
All
a
right.
second.
Okay. You spent a first-round 15th pick in the draft
And
on a quarterback.
he was picked number 4 in the 4th round pick
Okay.
32. Go ahead.
Yeah. You got your starting quarterback allegedly for the next 10 years.
Right.
Your team has all kind of holes in it. You've got a Hoyer backing him up, who's basically the quarterback coach, and you have Stidham as your third string quarterback. What the hell? Explain to me how you can take a 4th round pick on a quarterback who's, by the way, 6 feet and a half. It doesn't average arm strength. You didn't get a top 10 quarterback who dropped because he was injured. What the hell are you wasting a 4th round pick on him for?
Yeah, I can't imagine. And then I looked at him and I saw, well, maybe he does some other things. Maybe
he does. He can park cars. He can be a chauffeur at the hotel outside of Gillette.
Well, that's what I look. Everybody has a usefulness, Mark. Everyone does. But no, I thought maybe he would have done something different. They could have converted him somehow. No, he doesn't. It's a wasted pick. It's a useless pick. It's why the caller in Heated Hotline is so pissed off about Belichick. So look, those are some of the guys that we took. They took other guys. We don't have time to break those down, but what we do have time for on the other side is to talk something about how these guys are going to be implemented on this team now. What kind of team are the New England Patriots today than they were yesterday? Are they better, worse, the good, the bad, the ugly? We're going to get into all of that. And if you think Mark's pissed off now, come back for Real Deal on the other side right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. CORSO Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone. My mic is all in and out today, Joe. I think it must be the live situation, but Corso and Catone, the Real Deal, New England feel. Okay, Bob Kraft. All right, Bob Kraft. We're going to grade your GM for you, okay? We're going to talk about how these guys can fit on this team and what could have been done better. We're going to do, we're not even going to ask for any money. You don't even have to wake up for this, Bob. We're going to do this assessment for you, okay? And we're going to do it Real Deal style, Corso and Catone. Let's hear it. What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the Real Deal New England feel. It's going to be real. Okay, Mark. Bob Kraft is listening. Well, I'm not sure if he's listening. Hopefully they prop them up to listen to this. So let's do it, Mark. Let's break this down. What kind of team is this today?
I will say this. Based on the draft, I'll say this. They got a little bit more athletic, a little bit. By adding Thornton, adding this kid, Jones from Houston. I know you weren't crazy about him. And even the kid Strange for his position, he's athletic for his position. However, you didn't add enough. You didn't add enough athleticism. You didn't add enough speed at other positions, okay, that were needed. And you didn't add the depth of speed that you needed. Basically, today was a wasted day of draft picks. Today, third day of the draft, you know what? Here's the third day of the draft. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. For those of you that are listening on, iHeart, I'm ripping up my notes and I'm throwing them. That's what today was. That's what it was. A wasted third day of the draft. That's what it was. But with this stiff, as the caller said, he sucks. Belichick sucks as a GM. That's
Yo,
how I feel. That's how I feel.
I thought we were going to auction off his draft sheets. You know, we're gonna have to tape them.
No, the draft sheets. I got
think
another room.
I think you can get even more money for them. The fact that they tape all back together again. Tape them all back together. So, Mark,
tape them up and put them in a shadow box or something like that.
Right. But offensively, Mark, okay. So we look at the guard. They took the guard. They took the wide receiver. Forget the running backs for a second, because the two running backs they took, to me, don't make they don't help.
If you were going to take listen, I get you need a running back who can catch the ball out of backfield. You don't know what James White's going to give you coming off for the injury. J.J. Taylor, it doesn't seem like Belichick's a fan of his. Okay, so you need someone that can be an athlete, pass protect, catch the ball out of the backfield. If you want to take that, before you take that kid Strange, you should have taken Kyron Williams out of Notre Dame, because that's his specialty. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's shifty. He's good in pass protection. He was there, and you take this kid Strange? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and you know what? Neither one of these guys, Strange or Harris, can do that.
No.
Now, Harris, okay. They lost Jacob Johnson, the fullback. Okay. So they take this guy Harris, who's a big bruiser. He's a tackle-to-tackle guy. He's a short yardage guy. I guess.
Can he block?
Yeah, he can block. He's a guy that'll get through the first level and block for you out there. But again, it's a problem for the spot they took him. See this guy Harris? I think he would have been an undrafted guy. I don't think he was going to get drafted. So okay, fine. But the big guys,
offensively, did they help themselves?
I think they helped themselves. They helped themselves at wide. They helped themselves both on the offensive line and wide out. So now we're not talking about the value of the pick, where they picked them. Now we're talking about the player themselves being put on the New England Patriots. What happens? Thornton on the outside gives you speed that you've never had. I get concerned about the fact that other than Tyreek Hill, no wide receiver that was the fastest coming out has ever been good. Has failed. Other than Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
So that concerns me. But yes, they got better on the outside. So if you were looking for them to have somebody take a top off the field, you got that done. Okay?
He's not a complete wide receiver.
No, he's not. And I don't know that he's ever going to become a complete wide receiver. I think what he is what he is. I just want to see what happens when he plays against guys that can really press him. Okay?
Yeah.
So the wide receiver room got better, yes, athletically, because now with him, Parker, Bourne, Myers, I'm not mentioning Aguilar because I don't think he's going to get better. But I think they got better. And on the offensive line, yeah, I mean, they couldn't get worse because they got rid of both of their starting guards from last year. But does this make sense what they did with the guard here?
No. So you were forced to take a guard because you got rid of both your guards. One would have cost you nothing. The guy that Cincinnati signed, you could have gotten him relatively cheap. He wanted to stay. Okay. So that made no sense. And then you traded Mason, who you gave all that money to. Why? Because you mismanaged some of the contracts you gave out. So you just do what every other team does. You figure it out. You play around with money, and you could have kept him on the roster for at least for another year or two until his contract was up. And then you trade him to Tampa for a 5th-round pick, but you don't even keep the 5th-round pick. You roll it over for a couple of 6th-round picks. So they self-inflicted the fact that they had to take a guard because of their stupidity in the offseason. Thank you very much, Bill Belichick. Thank you very much. For your stupidity in the offseason, we took a guard in the 1st round of the draft. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, on the other side of it, I will say that they needed the guy. This guy I think can start. He will play. I think they didn't get better at guard on that side. I mean, honestly, I think this kid will be a better guard than Karras was.
But is he going to be a better guard than Mason?
No. Well, I don't know. Eventually, he's got the potential to be, and he could play some center too.
Okay.
And guys are always dropping like flies. So no, I wouldn't say they got better at offensive line. They got worse with not having Mason there. Owinu's going to have to put this kid in, start him, fine. I think you're going to be all right at offensive line. Again, I don't like where they took him, but I like the kid and I think he's got talent. So offensively, again, and that wide receiver with the play action pass, but those running backs do nothing for me.
And that guard fits what they do because he's a good run blocker. And so, everything predicates off of the run in our offense, right?
And the LSU guard makes that offensive line better too, because honestly, I'll be honest with you. I think Hines, that guard out of LSU, provides just as much versatility. And I got to tell you, Mark, I like that kid. I like the way he latches onto guys.
They took him in the 6th round, right?
They took him in the 6th round, and I think he's got a chance to be better than Strange.
Oh, good God. Yeah,
I think he's
better
got a
than the
chance to
first
be-
round pick?
Yeah, well, that would make sense for us, wouldn't it?
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So I mean, I think they got better at more athletic,
Yep.
but they didn't do nearly what they could have done. This team could have had guys like this guy. They could have had guys like your guy, the wide receiver you've been talking, Sky Moore.
Sky
They
Moore.
could have had a guy like that, a versatile, do everything kind of guy. They could have had a guy like Pickens that could give you over the top like this kid can. Maybe not as much speed, but also give you some things in the middle. You know what I mean?
You know what I don't understand? Unless our
Raymond, they didn't deal with it. They got a tackle late.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't address it.
Listen, I don't understand if your offense, since we're talking about the offensive side of the ball, your offense is predicated by the shiftiness of, at least it always was, of slot receivers. Okay. You had Troy Brown, you had Welker, you had Edelman. We've struggled with this since Edelman has retired. Are we going away from our offense being predicated upon running game, slot, receiver? If we are, that's fine. But if you're continuing with that's the basis of your offense, how the hell did you not take Sky Moore?
Well, I have to believe that they're not getting away from that, Mark, because getting the burner on the outside tells you that they're going to continue to play action. And the only way to play action is to run the damn ball. So they got 2 good run blockers here, but they didn't address tackle. And when one of those fat asses gets hurt, okay, in particular, okay, or when he's blown by over and over and over again, to say nothing about Brown on the other side, one of those guys is going to go down. Historically, that's happened. It happens every single year. What do you do at tackle now?
You didn't draft one. Well, you did late, but
right. So they're going to kick a Winu over there again.
Yeah. Yep.
And live with these 2 rookies. So again, did they get better on offense? They got more athletic.
They got a little more athletic. Are they better? I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I am too.
Just solely off the draft, I will say no because, Chris, we don't know if he'll redshirt this kid from Baylor.
And that's the other problem. Every single guy he takes every friggin' year is put on the bench for the season.
Yeah.
And, so if you're going to bench these guys in their first year, then no, you're a lot worse because you could have gotten better and you didn't, So that's offensively. And Mark, on the other side of the damn ball.
Oh, good God. Listen, can I
give your theory about the linebacker?
Can I ask you a question? I was just going to say, how do they not draft a linebacker? Like, he was screaming. Chris is calling me screaming about Dean, about this guy, that guy, all these different linebackers. Every pick, there's a linebacker he loved that was available. And I'm saying to him, listen, you don't understand. This crazy fool of a coach we have believes that his linebacker room, as crazy as it sounds, even though every draft expert in the world had linebacker down as one of our top 2 deficiencies, Belichick doesn't see it that way because he re-signed Bentley, okay? Yep. He's got Raekwon McMillan, who got injured last year. He loved him in training camp, hurt his ACL. He's coming back. Supposedly he's got speed, can do a lot of things.
Well, wait, Mark, before you continue, I'm gonna ask you to compare for 1 second. See the 2 guys you just mentioned, and then I want to do this for every single one you're going to mention.
Yeah.
Is Devin Lloyd and Dean better than those 2 guys?
Yes, in my opinion, yes. Okay.
Keep going.
Then he's got Cameron McGrone, who hurt his knee late last year in Michigan, but getting ready for the combine. Supposedly he's a sideline linebacker. We've never seen him. He's coming back from injury.
Dean, better?
Better.
Okay.
Because I do remember McGrone from college. Then Anthony Jennings from Alabama, who allegedly had an injury last year, and they redshirted him again. He looked awful in training camp. So now all of a sudden you think he's going to give you something, and then as an outside linebacker, you got Uche also in the mix. So I believe and then he signed the linebacker from Cleveland. So I believe he thinks he's got a strong linebacker group. I think in his head he thinks that.
And maybe he's right. I mean, maybe he's right. Maybe he knows about these guys. Look, it's hard for us to assess people that have never got on the field. So I mean, how the hell can we can't possibly do that, right? So I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe he's expecting a lot of Perkins and company and all these guys.
Oh, I didn't even mention Perkins. Yeah, Perkins is another one. Never seen him.
So, and if that's the case and we're wrong, fine. But man, you're talking about McGroon. You talking about Uche right now for a second, okay? I would have rather have Barno from Virginia Tech, the outside linebacker. Honestly, right now, today.
All right. Well,
and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And let us know in Heated Hotline.
Let me ask you something. How about
wrong?
Now,
6 months from now on the Pats Nation, when we're in week friggin' 4 of the season and we're doing our post-game show, the only post-game show worth watching, you tell me how the stiffs are going to be that they drafted last year and the year before. So our Sunday stiff will be the whole linebacking core.
Here we go. Well, that was our Sunday stiff last year. A couple of times, the whole linebacking group. So, okay. So now what about corner? Quickly. What about corner? Because that's your expertise. Did we get better in that room with the guys we took? With Jones, the guy who's got slow feet. He can't move his feet and he can't get a 50-50 ball. That's a great corner. And the kid from Houston.
You want to know what's sad? You want to know what's really sad? Okay. Is there was nowhere left to go but up. Okay, there was nowhere left to go but up. They could have drafted your dog, okay, at corner, and he would be better than Juan Williams. So when you ask me, did they get better at corner? Okay, they did get better because they couldn't get worse. Honestly.
Okay. That's fair.
The kid from Houston, I like the kid from Houston because he gives you something in the slot you didn't have. And if your thought was to play Mills in the slot, it's something we can't now. He has to play outside. Yep. And the fact that they got Butler in now, if he's got anything left, and I don't know.
If he's got anything left, he can only play outside. He can't play anywhere else. He's going to have to play
outside. So you take this kid to play inside because what are you left with? Williams? who the other kid?
Miles Bryant.
Jones, right?
Yep, Jones
will play. He was hurt some of the season. Wade is another corner.
We don't know what he can give you.
We don't know what he could do. He was a rookie last year.
And I don't know, Mark. The kid that never seen the field, he was hurt all year. The other rookie supposedly can play safety or slot. I don't know. The kid Bledsoe. Yep, we don't know what he'll give you.
So, and to say nothing of the fact, I'll get to safety in a second, but did they get better? They had to have gotten better because they couldn't get worse, but they could have gotten a lot better is my point. You could have had guys like McCreary. You could have had guys like Davis, Elam, Gordon. Even Gordon out of Washington went later, and I don't like going in there. Booth was another guy you could have had. These are guys that instantly put you better because of the competition they played against. And these guys haven't played. They played against stiffs, to say nothing about the ASU guy. And on the safety mark, same thing. They didn't draft the safety.
No. So you need a center fielder. How long can you keep putting McCourty out there to play center field at his age? I mean, at some point you have to address center field. I got you have Phillips and Duggar, and they're good. But at some point you have to address center field.
Right. And they haven't done it. So I don't know.
And the other kid they just picked up from the Giants is good. But again, he's more of a Duggar.
Right. And they got that. Phillips, Duggar.
They got that. He's not a center fielder.
And so.
Oh, and he's going to play. He might play some hybrid linebacker for you.
Right. Which is another reason why I wanted Dean on this team. So, okay. So, we could talk about this for 3 hours. Unfortunately, we don't have
did we? Did we get better on defense?
No.
Okay, no.
We didn't. An emphatic no. We didn't get better on
I will agree with that. No, we did not.
Given what the knowledge we have right now in the linebacker core we have in the defensive front, the defensive ends that can't set a friggin' edge, no, we didn't get better. And we had many opportunities to get better, and we didn't do it. And we'll fast forward with the Pats Nation, CC Nation, Pats Nation, everybody in the nation. When you tune in months from now, when we start this, we'll see what these guys are and if they're even on the field. So, Mark, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's ugly. Your final say for overall this team.
I say it's ugly. You had the worst day 3 draft that I can remember. It was awful. Absolutely awful. 2 running backs, quarterbacks. I mean, come on.
They're a laughing stock.
They're a laughing stock. McVay, our comment from one of our listeners said it best. We're a laughing stock. Okay, people around the league are laughing at what we did today. So, in my opinion, our draft, the good, the bad, it was ugly. Ugly, in my opinion.
So there you go, a glimpse into the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, Bill Belichick, Matt Groh, the lackey. There's a good glimpse as to what we're going to see this season. So our post-draft party was presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots.
Before, I don't mean to interrupt you. Anybody who didn't see it, go to YouTube and watch Wayne Newton from the draft.
Oh, the best part.
Next week, Chris will tell you about it next week.
It was the best part of the draft. Make sure you look at it. So the Patriots, the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. It's always 30 minutes following every Patriots post-game. And Mark, we're picked up. We're picked up for another season. We're coming back for the 2022 season. Woo-hoo! Here we go. So make sure you get yourself in the nation for that, and we'll see who the real players are and who are the stiffs. And come back next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Celtics continuing their playoff run, starting tomorrow against Milwaukee. We'll have a lot to say on that. The Bruins are beginning their playoff run as well, and it looks like it's going to be Carolina. And some baseball talk. So you definitely don't want to miss that right here with Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.